Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So today is Tuesday, and we're doing the new Twisted Tuesday thing where we do storytelling of true crime, murder stories, and stories of the paranormal. So if that's your thing, consider sticking around and subscribing to the channel. So today's story is the true story of Lauren Giddings and the betrayal and murder. Horrible. Anyway, Lauren was a very young, bright, beautiful girl, days away from taking the bar exam. Her future was everything that she had worked so hard for. But what Lauren Giddings did not know was that the person that she trusted and that lived just feet away from her had been watching her, obsessing over her, and planning something truly sickening. And when he finally made his move, he left behind one of the most disturbing murder confessions in Georgia's history. This is the true story of Lauren Giddings and the twisted betrayal that led to her death. Lauren Giddings was 27 years old and a recent high school graduate and law school graduate in Macon County, Georgia. She was smart, social, likable, just well loved. She had a lot of friends, and she was just enjoying her life of being a postgraduate. She lived close to the school campus, but kind of one of those studio apartments off campus. And Lauren had recently broke up with her boyfriend, longtime boyfriend, and she was just focusing on herself and her future. She was very excited for her life and being proud of herself for getting through law school and all of her accomplishments. Her neighbor, Stephen McDaniel, he was an awkward classmate from law school. Lauren really didn't know him. They weren't really close, but she was always kind to him, and when they saw each other in the hallway, they would wave to each other. He lived in the same complex, actually just feet away from her door, her front door. What Lauren did not know, though, is that Stephen had been obsessing over her and watching her for months. On June 26, 2011, Lauren stopped responding to calls and texts from her friends. And after getting a hold of her family and nobody could get a hold of her, her family finally would contact the police and report her daughter missing. A little later, officers arrived at her apartment. They knocked on the door and knocked on the door and knocked on the door with no answer. There was no noise, no nothing inside. But after finding that her car was still parked in the parking lot, they eventually had the owner of the apartment complex use a key to let them in to Lauren's apartment. But when they entered her apartment, they noticed right away that nothing appeared to be moved or disturbed at all. But Lauren was still nowhere to be found, no trace of her anywhere. Police knocked on doors all around the complex, all around. They went to the campus and asked everybody around the campus if they had seen her. But one of those doors that they would knock on was Stephen McDaniel. He was very cooperative, although he seemed nervous, the police said. However, a lot of people kind of get nervous when being questioned by the police, so they really didn't think anything of it at first. After telling the police that he had not seen her, and the police feeling satisfied, the police left and went on to go question some other people. That same day, Stephen McDaniel would give an interview to the local news. But midway through that interview, a reporter informed him that they had found a body. Stephen's expression immediately changed. His jaw dropped, and he backed away. And the video, that news clip, went viral. The police had indeed found a body, but would not be a whole body. What the police found was a dismembered torso in a trash bin behind the apartment complex. No head, no limbs, just a torso wrapped in plastic. DNA would later confirm that this was indeed Lauren, sadly. The investigation intensified after this. They interviewed Stephen again. This time he rambled, trembled, and kept contradicting himself over and over. The guilt was all over this guy. Eventually, the police would obtain a search warrant because they saw it too. What they found inside his apartment would turn the case upside down. Inside Stephen's apartment was latex gloves, a master key to all the apartments in the apartment complex, and a flash drive. On this flash drive they found were hundreds of photos of Lauren, some taken through her window. Others appeared to be taken candidly, like taken out in public without her knowledge. Also on the drive were disturbing documents. One file, it was a detailed plan. It was titled Plan, and it was a plan outlined to break into Lauren's apartment while she slept, how to kill her, and how to get rid of her body. Stephen had written it all down. What a creep. I mean, you can't trust anybody nowadays. It's just horrible. Anyway, faced with the mounting evidence, Stephen would finally confess. During the confession, he told police that he waited until the early hours of the morning, and using the master key to all the apartments, he just casually slipped into her apartment while she slept, and he stood over her bed, just watching her, you know, kind of like thinking in his head what he was going to do to her. It's sick, right? Well, when he started to attack, Lauren woke up and fought back, leaving scratches on his arms that I guess he had worn something over, and the police hadn't noticed before. Then he returned to his apartment and waited for nightfall after strangling her. Then he would slip back into her apartment after nightfall and bring his body back to his apartment, where he would dismember her in the bathtub. He kept her torso just yards away in the trash bin outside. I really don't think that he was going to keep it there, but I think all the heavy police presence is why he could not move it to somewhere else. So when the police asked why he did it, Stephen told police that he was angry and resentful and obsessed. He wanted control because with Lauren, he felt invisible. She had everything, he said. She had friends, she had success, attention, and a social life, which he didn't. He was pretty much a hermit, stayed in his apartment, didn't have any friends. But most chilling of all, he said that he just wanted to know what it felt like to take a life. And that's creepy and horrible. So Stephen was charged with murder. And eventually he accepted a plea deal to avoid the death penalty. And he would tell everything, his whole confession. He was sentenced to life in prison. The courtroom was silent as the judge read the details. Lauren's family just wept uncontrollably, as you can imagine. Stephen showed no emotion at all. Just sat there with a grim expression on his face. What a creep. His written confession was read aloud. It was cold and precise, almost clinical. He had been planning her death for weeks, if not longer. Lauren's friends launched scholarships in her name, her former classmates held vigils, and her family campaigned for campus safety reform. But no one could erase this horror of how her life ended. A bright future extinguished by someone she thought was just another classmate. Someone who smiled and waved and in her face but plotted in the walls next door. Lauren's story remains one of the most haunting true crime cases in modern Georgia history, and a terrifying reminder that not every monster lives far away. Sometimes they live just one wall over. So that is the horrible tale of how a life was taken from a young, beautiful girl who had her whole life ahead of her. So you really cannot be too careful. So if you got something out of today's story, please leave a like for the video, run those likes up, and consider subscribing to the channel. We do all kinds of mysteries on this channel, and these stories are going to be a part of our new Twisted Tuesdays. Always remember to trust your gut, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good day, guys. Bye.